How's it going, people? So with Wrath of the Lich King around the corner, I just wanted to make a little guide for future paladins looking at going holy, since in Wrath of the Lich King holy paladins are now actually good and having a lot higher skill cap than in Classic and TBC. I will go over the change in playstyle, what is expected of you in raids, and the new abilities. Alright, so going from a stagnant playstyle in Classic TBC, the Holy Paladin now has a lot they can be doing to play their class at a higher level. So there are two specs to consider, one focusing on Flash of Light crits and the other focusing on Holy Light. I think the Holy Light spec is the better of the two, so I will focus mainly on this. With the Light's Grace proc and standard haste rating, your Holy Light's cast time will be about 1.5 seconds. Paired with the Glyph of Holy Light, you'll be doing insane healing. Okay, so Beacon of Light now being in the game, keeping tanks alive has kind of turned into a joke. As long as players are standing within 60 yards of the tank, you really don't need to target them apart from reapplying Beacon of Light and Sacred Shield. Sacred Shield should always be applied to your main tank for the Absorbing Shield and Flash of Light crit procs. If a non-holy paladin is applying this to your tank, you should re-educate them and tell them to stop. They should be using it on the off tank or other melee that are taking a lot of damage. With the improved Divine Sacrifice talent, always keep in mind that you will be buffing your Sacred Shield, so tell those other paladins using this buff to back off. Divine Sacrifice is a huge 2-minute cooldown you should be getting the hang of using almost always, but specifically when you know big damage is about to be applied to your raid group. Combined with Divine Shield, your survivability and utility to your raid is outrageous. Holy Shock now has huge benefits from the infusion of light talent. When it crits, you can instantly cast a flash of light or increase the critical chance of Holy Light by 20%. This also applies a healing over time effect on your flash of light to targets with the Sacred Shield applied. Judgments now have their own separate casts, while seals have become 30-minute buffs. This means they are now their own individual spells. I know, going from less than 10 required keybinds in Classic WoW, the Holy Paladin in Wrath of the Lich King has about 30, so I'd start adding new keybinds to your repertoire now if you haven't already. You will always want to have Seal of Wisdom active. Coupled with the Glyph for Sealed Wisdom, it is pretty much a no-brainer. The amount of mana return you can gain from auto-attacking mobs is absurd, and you should always be looking to weave in these attacks to conserve your mana. If you are ever going in a raid, you are not playing the Holy Paladin to its potential. The judgment you should be using is of Light. This will firstly proc your talent Judgments of the Pure, and also put you on the healing meters instantly, giving every DPS in your raid an insane lifesteal that procs like crazy. Blessing of Freedom, Protection, Sacrifice and Salvation have now also been changed from blessings into hands. This means when you apply these buffs, you will not have to reapply Blessings of Kings, Wisdoms or Might for example, but they are still limited to 1 per player at a time. A big change, but noticeably for Salvation. I don't think threat will be an issue in Wrath, but if you ever notice someone creeping up on the threat meter, you just simply chuck Hand of Salvation on them. Hand of Sacrifice is also a great defensive to help your tank. As with Beacon of Light, you would simply heal yourself, which in turn heals your tank. Divine Plea should be used as often as possible, but with the reduced healing you may want to pair it with Avenging Wrath and your trinkets. Yes, Avenging Wrath now also increases your healing by 20%. Aura Mastery is a great way to boost your raid's Shadow, Frost or Fire resistance from incoming burst damage. Kind of a niche ability, but it has its time to shine. I know there is a lot of information being thrown at you, but we're almost done. Lay on Hands now does not cost any mana, so please do not be afraid to use it if your tank is in a dire situation. The 20% damage reduction from it is also very huge. Divine Illumination should of course always be used on cooldown, and as Divine Favor does not share a global, you can use it instantly when needed. On top of all this, you are able to deal decent damage. Exorcism now damages any type of target. With Holy Shock, Judgments and Hammer of Wrath, don't be afraid to pump the damage if healing is not an issue. Holy Wrath especially is a good way to kill undead. As you can see from all these abilities listed above, the Holy Paladin has a lot of responsibility. It will take some time to become actually good at this class, and the fault of your raid wipes could definitely be because of you if you are not up to par with how the new Holy Paladin works. From weaving in melee attacks for mana and keeping judgments up, to lowering incoming damage, to supporting your pompers from threat and keeping your tanks alive, this class is now very high skill capped, stressful, but also very rewarding and fun to play. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, just let me know. Peace.